Well, Moscow has now responded to Ukraine's long-range drone attack on air bases deep within Russia. Using a mix of ballistic and cruise missiles as well as drones, Russia hit 6 regions in Ukraine overnight. The hours-long bombardment killing at least 4 people, including 3 first responders in Kyiv. And while drone warfare has become commonplace since Russia invaded Ukraine 3 years ago, this weekend's crippling attack on Russia's bomber fleet raising new concerns that the U.S. is unprepared for a drone attack here on American soil because that daring operation took more than a year and a half to plan and then execute. So let's bring in NewsNation's Joe Khalil live for us in Washington. And Joe, Ukraine's raid has clearly gotten lawmakers' attention.
Yeah, Nichole, I think what has changed in a fundamental way this week is that people would often talk about drone warfare as the way that warfare was going to be fought in the future. And that conversation has really changed to the fact that this is not a future thing. This is a right now thing. And American lawmakers, Democrats and Republicans, House and Senate, people who we have spoken to this week, all say that American airspace right now is vulnerable. The incredibly successful Ukrainian drone mission that we've been talking about here, I mean, it showed how much you can do with a $200 drone and how much damage that can do to a multi-million-dollar advanced aircraft, as happened in Russia. We saw it. This week, the Secretary of the Army was testifying here on Capitol Hill. Also, the head of the FAA was testifying here on Capitol Hill. They got a lot of questions about this very topic. We spoke exclusively to Senator Andy Kim from New Jersey. Remember, Kim himself back in December was actually seeing that drone incursion over New Jersey. Some of it, he told us, was explained later as other aircraft, but he still says there are serious problems, especially when it comes to detecting drones or incursions that may be in our airspace before they get here. He says at this point, we still cannot do that in an efficient way to protect against what would be a serious attack. Take a listen.
Regardless of what was flying up in the skies in New Jersey, the fact that our military bases didn't know what was going on, nor did they have necessarily a clarity of how they would have responded if it was something dangerous or nefarious. You know, it shows that we're just not at the level of readiness to be able to take this on. And this isn't just about our military bases. It's about critical infrastructure, water treatment plants, power plants.
Now, we did hear from President Trump back in January, maybe the first day that he took office. He said that some of what was seen over New Jersey, actually, President Trump said all of it were FAA-authorized aircraft. But just a week or so ago, you had the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, tell our own Libby Dean that he, as the Transportation Secretary to this day, says they actually don't know what was flying in that airspace. Some of it identified, some of it, he said, we don't know. So that is obviously concerning. One bit of hope here is I've talked to other senators who have said that at one point, not so long ago, the FAA and the Department of Defense were not really communicating with each other. Now, I am told they are sharing more information when it comes to drones. They are at least coordinating and working together on responses and detection. So that is a good sign, something that certainly needs to happen in order to keep our airspace safe.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.